All right, y'all. Here is part two of our trip through the amendments that protect our rights. We are going to start with the Sixth Amendment, which is a big one. So get ready. The Sixth Amendment. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. There's a bunch in there, so let me hit four high points. First, you have the right to an impartial jury. If you are arrested, then you have the right to have a trial where you will be judged by a group of people who don't know you and have nothing to gain or lose. People who are impartial, who just don't care. Next, you have the right to representation. This basically means you have the right to a lawyer, either if the police are questioning you or if you are being put on trial. You get to have a lawyer there who knows the law and can help defend you. If you can't afford a lawyer, then you are allowed to get a lawyer for free that the government pays for. You are, of course, also allowed to hire a lawyer of your choice. You have the right to a speedy and public trial. If you are arrested, this means you are entitled to have a trial happen relatively soon. The government can't just arrest you and be like, yeah, we'll put you on trial when we get around to it. No, they have to bring you to trial relatively quickly or let you go. They also have to make the trial public. They can't arrest you and then go tell your family, oh, yeah, we had a trial. It was fair. They were guilty. No, your trial has to be open to the public so that everybody could see the justice process at work. Finally, it's here it says witnesses must testify. If there is a witness who you want to speak in your defense, you have the right to make them come to the trial and to have them be required to testify. Like if somebody who really hates you saw you somewhere else at the time you were accused of committing a crime, you have the right to say, hey, this person can say, I wasn't there. And they can be forced to go to court and they can be forced to then testify, yeah, they didn't do the crime. I saw them somewhere else at the time. All right, moving on. The Eighth Amendment. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So, first up, no cruel and unusual punishment. When judges decide what sentences to hand down, they have to do so within normally accepted guidelines. They can't make up super weird, super harsh things for small crimes. In the picture here, they can't be like, oh, you littered, well, you go to jail forever. Nor can they be, well, you littered. In that case, all of the city's trash will be dumped in your room. No, they have to work within an accepted system of punishments that should be fair, which ties into the next one. Bails and fines must be reasonable. Basically, the punishment needs to fit the crime. For a very serious crime, a large amount of bail or a large fine might be required, whereas for a smaller crime, the amounts you have to pay should be much less. Again, you can basically sum this up really simply by saying the punishment must fit the crime. Next up, we jump to the 13th Amendment. Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. This was the amendment that finally brought an end to slavery. This one says there is no way, shape, or form that slavery is allowed in the United States. The only possible exception is if you've been convicted of a crime. In other words, if you are in prison, then you can be required to work without pay. But in no other circumstance Slavery is completely forbidden. Thank goodness. It might have taken us a while, but at least we got there. Okay, y'all. We made it to the 14th Amendment. Like a lot of these, this one is really important. It's also very long, and several of the sections, well, they were very important at the time, but they are less applicable right now. So I'm going to focus on what I consider by far the most important part of it, Section 1, and that's the part I'm going to read. Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Very basically, this says that everyone, all citizens of the United States, are entitled to equality under the law. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Everyone, all peoples in the United States are entitled to equality under the law. The 15th Amendment. Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Section 2. The Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. This says every American citizen can vote, regardless of your race. It does not matter what color your skin is. It does not matter where your ancestors come from. If you are a citizen of this country, you are entitled to vote. The 19th Amendment. The rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. This was the amendment that gave all American citizen women the right to vote. Before this, women were permitted to vote in some places, in some states, but not in others. But with the passage of the 19th Amendment, women were guaranteed the right to vote in the United States. The 26th Amendment. Section 1. The rights of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. Section 2. The Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Isn't Section 2 always exciting, y'all? This one's really simple. This lowered the voting age across all states to 18 years old or younger, if states wanted to go younger. This was a big deal when it was passed because at the time, the Vietnam War was going on, and young men in the United States who were 18 years old were subject to be drafted. In other words, to be made to go into the army and fight in the war, even though in many cases they were living in places where 18-year-olds weren't allowed to vote. And there was a feeling that, hey, if you're old enough to be sent off to die for your country, you should be old enough to get to vote and have a say about it. Okay, I do believe that brings us to the end here. Now, we definitely haven't gone over all the amendments to the United States Constitution. There are a bunch of them, 27 to be exact. What I have done is focus on the ones that protect each and all of our individual rights as American citizens. I hope I've given you something to think about. Your secret word for the day will be amendment. I will put it down in the description beneath the video, and, well, it was on nearly every slide, but the word amendment in all lowercase letters will be the secret word to unlock the rest of today's assignment. I wish you very good luck. If you have any questions about any part of the assignment, please don't hesitate to contact me. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy.